All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this Athenian Stranger tutorial video, where we will be looking today at a math problem that involves midpoints. So let's take a look at what we're given. We are given this information here. Find the midpoint of GH, given that point G is located at 7, -5, and point H is located at 9, -1. The very first thing we need to do is make sure we all are on the same page about how to label these points. So when you have a coordinate pair, the first value given inside the parentheses is the x coordinate, and the second value given is the y coordinate. Again, for h, the first value given is the x coordinate, the second value given is the y coordinate. Okay, so the very first thing I'd like to do before we start putting formulas down and working problems out is actually let's get some points on the page and see what we're looking at. So let's graph this. First, we'll move on the x-axis over to 7, and then we'll go down 5 to get to -5, to be at 7, -5. So use a guide here. Right, that point at -5 on the y-axis and 7 on the x is about there. Okay, right there. So we'll draw this point and we'll label this G. And now we'll plot point H. So first we need to move all the way over to 9 on the x-axis and then down 1 to get to -1 on the y. So actually, this point's going to be a little hard to plot. This point is located right here. We'll just draw it bigger. I'll draw both these points bigger. Okay, so in a two-dimensional coordinate plane with y as the vertical axis and x as the horizontal axis, what we are attempting to find is the midpoint in this segment right here. We've got to label this H. So we want to find half the distance between G and H. Well, how do we do that? We didn't really do this in algebra, so let's do it now. Remember that in order to find the midpoint, you have to first find the average distance between the x values and then the average distance between the y values. We'll just do it one at a time. So the midpoint, we're going to come up with a letter. We'll call this midpoint M, is located at the average distance between the x values. Now, how am I going to write that? So the way you find the average is you add two things together and divide by 2, the average of two things. So here are the two things. First, I need to find the average of the x values. So that's x1, and we'll call 7 x1. We'll call 9 x2. x1 plus x2 over 2. That's going to be, once we solve that, we'll replace x1 and x2 with numbers here in a sec. Once we solve that out, that'll be the x coordinate of the midpoint. And then here's the big comma for the y coordinate of the midpoint. y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Close parentheses. So that's a model for what we're going to do next. So next we're going to write, well, okay, midpoint M located at, now we'll replace the x1 with 7 and the x2 with 9. 7 plus 9 divided by 2. That will be the x coordinate of the midpoint, comma, now let's get the y coordinates. -5 plus -1. -5 plus -1 over 2. Close parentheses. So just one more simplification, we'll have it done. So once again, midpoint M is located at the following coordinates. So what's 7 plus 9? 7 plus 9 is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So this x coordinate is 8, comma, -5 plus -1. When you add two negative numbers together, what you end up with is always a bigger number that is also negative. So a larger number that's still negative. So -5 plus -1 is -6. So you're moving to the left on the number line. It's just a greater magnitude negative number. So we have -6 in the numerator over 2. What is -6 divided by 2? What is -6 divided by 2? -6 divided by 2 is -3. Close parentheses. So we should find this point somewhere on this line. And it should be, if we've drawn our graph carefully enough, it should be a exactly halfway between G and H. Let's see if it is. So first let's move 8 on the X and then go down 3. Here it is right here. This point right here. We'll draw that in. And it confirms what we thought. It appears to be exactly at the middle between G and H. So you have found the midpoint. And that is the end of the problem. It helps to draw a graph sometimes. Many of these problems in the textbook don't show it with a graph. I always like to see it. So I hope you found that helpful. If you would, please take a moment to like and subscribe, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell so you're always alerted to new videos. Thank you very much.